These are our top stories. Government offices resume service. Prime Minister Marlin hosts Carnival Queen's dinner. And Minister Jacobs encourages national soccer team to do their best in Aruba. These stories and more as 30 Minutes with Government begins now.
Family law, criminal law, labor law, corporate law, immigration law, electoral law, tax law, environmental law, inheritance law. The law matters to you. A joint venture between the Department of Communication and the University of St. Martin. The lecture series, The Law Matters to You, is aimed at informing and providing the general public of St. Martin about the different laws. We invite you to visit the official government website at www.stmartingov.org for details on upcoming lectures. The law matters to you, bringing the law closer to the people.
The Ministry of General Affairs hereby informs the general public that on Monday, March 13th, all government departments will reopen to the public as normal. The following departments will be ready to serve the public: Civil Registry, Tax Administration, Inspectorate and Receiver's Office, Public Service Center Simpson Bay, Labor and Social Affairs Department, and the Finance Department. All technical difficulties associated with the ICT network have been resolved, and all public services have been restored following the previously announced cleanup at the building housing the Civil Registry and Receiver's Office. Prime Minister William Marlin and his spouse, Mrs. Gabrielle Marlin, hosted the Carnival Queen's dinner with the Prime Minister on Saturday, March 11th at Share Restaurant. The event was organized by Mrs. Anna Rabis Richardson, president of Posh Productions. Present at the Queen's dinner were the four reigning Carnival Queens: Junior Queen Trinity Christina, Teen Queen Deandra Marlin, Senior Queen Estika Harley, and Mature Queen Narissa Anatol. Each of the four queens were given the opportunity to address this year's delegates, who are busy preparing for the upcoming pageants during Carnival 2017.
I am your Miss Narissa Anatol, your proud 2016 and 2017 Miss Mature. And it is a pleasure to be here among such influential people in society. I myself aspire to be a role model to others and to achieve this set goal. I have been trying my utmost best during my reign to give back to our community and do positive things that are memorable.
Prime Minister, in his address to the contestants, indicated that pageantry is just like sports, and if you're going to compete, do so at your best in your respective categories.
And the excitement about tonight, I think, for all of you is who will be the next four queens? Which of you will wear that crown? Which of you will get that opportunity to represent St. Martin abroad, to represent St. Martin, more importantly, at home? It is not just about putting on a gown, a bathing suit, and parading on a stage, but you've heard from some of the other queens the work that goes into it, the energy that you put into it. And I like the analogy that the teen queen just made with sports. I've been involved in sports all my younger life, and the volleyball coach was my big thing, besides I'm saying basketball and volleyball and football and all of the other balls. but you know, the pageantry is just like sports. If you don't persevere, if you don't have an attitude of never giving up, if you don't have an attitude of setting a goal, preparing, training, going after it, you won't be successful. So you have to stick to it. You got to prepare your plan, you got to work at your plan, you got to work out to be in condition because you're competing against others who want to be the best in their category. If you're just here to say, I'm gonna have a good time and whatever happens, then you have already lost. But if you truly want to win, you have to give it your very best. Give it your very best. Train, practice, do all the good things, do all the necessary things in order for you to be that winner 3 or 4 weeks from now, whenever that winner.
Mrs. Gabrielle Marlin also gave words of inspiration and tips to the delegates of 2017.
I could not give up on the opportunity to be here with you this evening. It was like lifting up weights in the gym, but I knew I would be here this evening. I had no clue that I would be talking to you. I had no clue that I would feel this comfortable in your midst. And as I look at each and every one of you, just making that decision, you are winners. Let me hear you say it. I am a winner.
I am a winner.
Say it from in here.
I am a winner.
Let me see that sitting down now. Let's get it up. Let's get it in. Belly button to back. And breathing. Control your breathing. Things happen. You might be late. I had some flustered ones come in there and their heart beating as they're hugging me, and it's like, calm down, it's already done. You can't fix the past. The future is a mystery. You are living in the present. And living in the present, not even that you can control. However, I want you to know, with anything that might happen during this period of time, that one of the things that you definitely control is how you breathe. You might be nervous. You might be on stage and you twist a bit, something wrong. Remember, control your heartbeat, control your anxiety level by how you breathe.
Before the evening was over, a surprise award was presented to one of the 4 reigning queens for her great work in the community during her first-year reign. On behalf of Posh Productions, Prime Minister Marlin and Mrs. Marlin presented Miss Mature Queen 2016 Narissa Anatol with the Queen's Crystal Award.
It is presented to
Narissa Anatol. 2017
in recognition of your
outstanding reign.
Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, the Honorable Severia Jacobs, delivered a speech of encouragement to the Junior Under-13 national soccer team on Friday, March 10th. The national team traveled on Sunday, March 12th to Aruba, where they are scheduled to play from March 13th to the 17th, with the finals wrapping up on March 18th. Minister Jacobs encouraged the athletes to show discipline, exercise good sportsmanship, and to do well not only in sports but their education to help them fully realize their dreams for the future.
It's a pleasure for me to be here as your Minister of Sports to wish you all the best on your upcoming trip. I know that some of you, I'm sure, went last year already, so you know what to expect. Of course, we would like you to win, but for me, it's very important that you go out there and gain the experience of playing at your very best against other islands. You've been playing on St. Martin, you play against the French side too, right? So you have some experience with international, because even though we're one island, when it comes to competition, when you play against the French side, that's an international game. So I want you to Make sure that you don't let your nerves get the better of you. I hope you're also training strength of character, how to handle stress, how to deal with disappointments, and that regardless if you win or lose, that you keep your composure, that you keep your dignity. I'm not saying you won't get angry or mad, but the behavior that you display should be one still of respect to the other team that won, because it's not always, sometimes who's the best wins is who's better that day, right? All kinds of things can happen. And I think to play sports, you have to have discipline, you have to have a lot of courage. Okay, here maybe you don't see big crowds, but I'm sure you'll be seeing a bigger crowd there. So you have to prepare yourself for that. You have to eat well, drink a lot, right? I'm sure the coaches tell you that. And rest. I know that even as you are here, when you are here, you have to have discipline to be able to be on a national team and still do well in school. Are you all doing well in school? Yes. Okay, that's for me very, very important, because you can become someone that a big team wants to scout, but the ones that are doing well in school always get the better chances. We have a lot of athletes on St. Martin who get left behind because they're not doing well in school. Yeah, so college ball, playing in college or playing professional, it always helps if you have a good education with that. So I'm hoping that you all continue to do well in school, continue to train hard all the time, and now that you've got this opportunity to represent St. Martin abroad, that you do so with great pride. That when you see that flag flying and you hear the St. Martin song being played, that you stand completely still and you feel the pride of being a St. Martiner. Can you promise me that?
Yes.
And you're going to play with heart and soul?
Yes.
And you're going to go win.
Yes.
That's our goal. And win, lose, or draw, what are they going to remember about St. Martin's students and St. Martin's athletes? We don't give up. You're brave, you have courage, and that you have discipline. Discipline. You don't give up. So until the last whistle blows, you keep trying. Yes? Much success, and I'm looking forward to hearing the great news on a daily basis from the under-13 team in Aruba. All right? Have a wonderful time. Coaches, much success.
2017 public holiday schedule. Good Friday, Friday, April 14. Easter Sunday, Sunday, April 16. Easter Monday, Monday, April 17. King's Day, Thursday, April 27. Labor Day, Monday, May 1st. Carnival Day, Tuesday, May 2nd. Ascension Day, Thursday, May 25th. Whit Sunday, Sunday, June 4th. Emancipation Day, Saturday, July 1st. Constitution Day, Monday, October 9th. St. Martin's Day, Saturday, November 11th. Christmas Day, Monday, December 25th. Boxing Day, Tuesday, December 26th. And New Year's Day, Monday, January 1st, 2018. The 2017 public holiday schedule can also be viewed on the official website of the Government of St. Martin, www.stmartingov.org.
30 Minutes with Government continues in our coverage of the National Health Insurance Conference that was hosted by the Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, the Honorable Emil Lee, back on January 26th and 27th at the DV Little Bay Beach Resort. In this segment, 30 Minutes with Government features the presentation by lawyer Clifford Barnes, a member of the firm Epstein Becker Green in the healthcare and life sciences practice in the firm's Washington, D.C. and New York offices, and serves as co-chair of the firm's Health Plan Compliance Group. Here now is an excerpt of Mr. Barnes's presentation on the do's and don'ts when implementing national health insurance.
National health insurance in the BVI is a single-payer system based on ability to pay. And I think that for a system where they initially had a public healthcare system and then a private system, the private system effectively were for those people who could afford to buy insurance. They had insurance and they got some care on the island and sometimes went off the island. And everyone else went to the public system. and the public system was costing more and more and more money, people were more and more dissatisfied with it, and they had no way to measure results. So it was a no-win situation for the government. And so over years, and we're going to go through a little timeline, began to look at national health insurance as a way to lower the expenses that the government is paying, to get more bang for its buck, and actually to begin to get information about the care of the citizenry. So national health insurance is national insurance and national health. Those are two different things. And there's very few places other than a single payer system that you can get national insurance and national health. And as we think about insurance, and particularly for smaller populations, insurance is all about risk and all about the normal curve. And when you're talking about populations of 30, 40, 50, 60,000 people, 70,000 people, and multiple insurance operations, there is a high degree of inefficiency because there's got to be duplication. They all have to be sending out bills, they got to collect bills. And so the ability to be efficient and effective, and more importantly, to get the data that's necessary to make a difference in the population, I'd say is actually impossible. And so that's one of the key things I want to focus on, and is what is the objective of national health insurance. So we're going to look just a little bit at some of the key factors, and Dr. Lauter mentioned it earlier. And one thing is not to get frustrated. All right, 26 years it took the BVI, and that was on the express train. All right, and so there's their government people come in and they go out, and there's an ebb and flow. But what's important, and we know here at Saint Martin, I know that the Magnificent Seven, who are right over here, they're going to make sure that this thing keeps on going. And that's critical, to have some permanent people that are going to keep the ball rolling, because it falls off, and you got to just make sure you get it back on. Now, what's interesting here, though, is that of the 26 years, 23 was about getting the legislation passed. When you think about it, from the draft regulations, the studies, getting the language correct, doing the work. It's work to make sure that you've got everybody on the same page, or as many people on the same page, so that the legislation really reflects the population. It takes time. But it's 3 years from that date to implementation. So that is the hard work, getting the legislation passed. Then it's an altogether different thing of how do you now stand this thing up? The concept, it's a concept. Now how do you stand it up? How do you make it work? But that goes very fast. And so getting the key IT contracts, getting the appropriate capabilities, the internal capabilities to actually stand this up and operate it is something that, once the legislation is passed, is the real focus. Now, the next thing I want to address is the objectives. I think it's very important to articulate the key objectives. Really, what is it that you're really looking to do? Not necessarily what you can do, but what it is that you're looking for, because you're going to be able to go back and at the appropriate time pull out some of those key words to push yourselves forward, so that you want something that's going to talk about making sure that everyone has equal access. That's a concept, equal access. And let me tell you, though that word, equal access, is easy to say, it's hard to do, because all the policies impact that. we had a situation where, and we talked about caps or no caps. There was an issue around whether or not there's going to be balanced billing or no balanced billing. And balanced billing is where the difference between what the National Health Insurance is paying and what the physician is charging. Can they charge more than what the National Insurance is paying? If so, how much? Because the difference is what the citizen pays, the resident pays. So equal access, if they can charge anything, then there's really not equal access anymore, because it's going to be very price sensitive and very expensive for some people.
The Department of Communication under the Ministry of General Affairs is taking government communication to an all-new level with the implementation of a multimedia platform that encompasses print, web, social media, radio, and television to effectively reach the people of St. Martin. 30 Minutes with Government received an excerpt of the Inside Government interview program, where Department Head Mr. Rodney Richardson highlighted the department's staff and the products the Department of Communication develops to inform and educate the general public.
Well, formerly we were known as GIS, Government Information Service. And as of 10/10/10, we became DCOM, Department of Communication. As a Department of Communication, we are a multimedia organization, and we use 4 pillars, basically television, radio, print, and online media to give information to the public.
Tell us a little bit about your staff, because they're the backbone of the operations. Who are they?
Well, the staff basically consists of camera persons. As it relates to camera persons, we have Mr. Hubert Flanders and Mr. Dennis Lake. As it relates to our secretary, we have Ms. Lee Lake Williams. In the office, we have our policy worker, Marsha Gomes-Bobatwi. We have Pedro De Weaver. We have Cedric Peterson. And we have Ruby Pierre-Louise as communication workers. In the field of online media, we have Janelle Mardenborough, who's our webmaster. And then we have Guy Simon, who's our editor and technical director, and our newest worker, Ms. Giselle York, who is our documentalist. As a consultant, we also have Roddy Helliger.
Okay. These functions help in the development of what the department does on a day-to-day basis. As a multimedia center, I would assume that is the case. Now, priority areas for the department for 2017, what is DCOM focusing on?
Well, one of our main focuses is, in general, just giving information, but we're going to give that information through a number of means. And at the beginning of the year, we were able to accomplish the DCOM press room, which is located in the new administration building. And we put that as a priority area because we had to transition, just as many of the different departments transitioned to the new building, DCOM press room had to transition also. But previous to our transition to the DCOM press room, we were located in the Legislative Hall. But the DCOM press room is specifically set up as the room where our press conferences and the weekly press briefing can take place.
And finally, in this edition of 30 Minutes with Government, 3 public schools have been charged with completing murals of peace painted at their respective schools. This was an initiative under the St. Martin Do It program on Friday, March 10th and Saturday, March 11th, where the Be the Change Foundation in cooperation with the Arania Funds completed the 3rd edition of St. Martin Do It, the largest volunteer event on St. Martin. 30 Minutes with Government spoke to Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports, the Honorable Severia Jacobs, who volunteered and participated with her family at the Mary Genevieve de Weaver School.
So today it's Saturday and we're at the DUT. We have 3 schools, the Ruby La Vega School, the Leonard Connor School, and I'm here at the Mary Genevieve de Weaver School, as well as the Martin Luther King School that is doing a complete repaint. So I visited all of these schools and I'm now putting my hand to this one. All of the 3 schools I mentioned in the beginning were charged to get a mural together with their staff and an artist. Here today we have Lucinda Larish Ordain. Over at Ruby La Vega, we had Henry Thomas with, what's the young lady name again? Goodness. Khadijah Lake, a young student of Henry's. Together they did that one. And over in Leonard Connor, we had Rasmus Serra. So together with all of the volunteers, they're putting their dreams and ideas together. This one is based on the theme of Marie Genevieve the Weaver and blooming to fulfill our destiny. And so it's a very beautiful and colorful one, and I'm very excited. This was the largest one, so that's why I decided to come and help here together with my family, and lots and lots of volunteers, lots of children, lots of adults I've seen at other schools, entire football teams coming out and helping. And so I want to thank the St. Martin people for lending a hand to the St. Martin Dute and the public schools of St. Martin and all of the other worthy projects that are going on. And I would like to say that this is not something we should only do 2 days a year, that we should make it our business to try and volunteer on a regular basis, and we will see that St. Martin will do much, much better.
Family law, criminal law, labor law, corporate law, immigration law, electoral law, tax law, environmental law, inheritance law. The law matters to you. A joint venture between the Department of Communication and the University of St. Martin. The lecture series, The Law Matters to You, is aimed at informing and providing the general public of St. Martin about the different laws. We invite you to visit the official government website at www.stmartingov.org for details on upcoming lectures. The law matters to you, bringing the law closer to the people.
That brings us to the end of this edition of 30 Minutes with Government. Be sure to visit the Government of St. Martin Facebook page and give us a like. And for video on demand of this and all Department of Communication programming, be sure to visit the official government website, stmartingov.org. I'm Cedric Peterson on behalf of the Government of St. Martin and all of us here at the Department of Communication. Thanks for tuning in.